folks. Thank you all for waiting patiently while everybody joined in the meeting. My name is Michael. I'm one of the project managers here with ADU Resource Center, and then we also have Danny
Hello,
Johnson.
everybody. Hello, everybody.
How's
Thanks
it going?
for tuning in. And tonight we have a very, very comprehensive show. We are going to be talking about a very, very common topic or popular topic, and that is how to select a contractor. And I'm not going to take your thunder, Michael, so I'll give it back to you.
Alrighty. So I'm going to pull up a presentation here, and a. We'll start right away. All right. So tonight we're talking about how to choose the right contractor for your ADU project. There we go. So today's webinar, we're going to be going over a quick introduction into who ADU Resource Center is. We're going to discuss why contractor selection is so important, particularly for ADUs. We're going to review key qualities of an ADU Resource Center contractor and how to review and compare construction estimates. We're going to go over some red flags and some questions to ask before hiring your contractor. And we're going to talk about a few projects. Um, well, at the end of this webinar, you're going to have everything that you need to walk away and get started on your own ADU project. So again, my name is Michael. We've got Danny Johnson on the webinar as well. He'll be adding in, and then we have a few people from our ADU Resource Center project management team is also in the chat today. So we look forward to helping you out. This is going to be a very informational, insightful webinar. Now, not everybody is running at the same pace. We do recognize that some people are starting out on their research right now, and they're kind of at that beginning walking stage. And then there's some people that are kind of at a fast pace. They're moving along. They know they want an ADU. They're ready to go. They've done some research. And then we have some folks on here that are, man, they're ready to rear and to go. They've already got their plans ready and they're looking to sign up for their contractor right away. So because we have different paces, we understand that. And this webinar is going to be geared towards that person that's kind of in the beginning phase and the intermediate phase. For those that are ready to go, we will have follow-ups at the end and some Q&As that will allow us to dive deep into your specific projects. All right.
Mike,
This
can I just say
webinar,
something?
yeah.
Just add, there's going to be some polls. There's a poll window up on the screen right now, and periodically they'll say, "Okay, what are you interested? We want to know what you want us to talk about." We're going to have a lot of time for interaction with everybody. So when you see a poll window come up, if you see a question that you want us to address or a comment or something, click on it. Let us know so we can follow along and make sure that the content is complete for you.
Awesome. Awesome. Yep. So the questions are going to be there. And then one more thing to add. Uh, this because it's a nice small crowd here. We've got an intimate webinar, and we're going to have some live Q&A at the end of this, and we'll discuss your project and your specific questions, and everybody will be able to receive the benefit of that conversation. So while we're going through the webinar, the chat is open and live. Please post your questions there. I don't think we're going to, and I would suggest that we don't answer them right away unless it's a quick answer. Maybe somebody on our one of the project managers in the panel might answer the question quickly. But ideally, we want to engage in a quick conversation about it towards the end. Go ahead and post your questions, and we'll have that chat a little bit later. So the first poll is going. It's just a quick introduction, what topic you'd like to see on this webinar, and it looks like everybody's here for the right thing. Contractor selection and vetting. That's exactly what we're doing. All right. So we're going to start out with a little bit of an introduction about ADU Resource Center, who we are, what we do. Nice. All right. At ADU Resource Center, we're a all-in-one company. We have comprehensive ADU services from A to Z. We have a very experienced team with over 600 ADU projects since 2020 when we started, and we have a very skilled and knowledgeable team to be able to help take care of the entire process for you. We have very diverse capabilities. Our in-house team can develop ADUs, we can do custom homes, we can do multifamily dwellings. It's not just ADUs. And Danny's going to have a little bit to say about that in just a moment. We also do these educational webinars. You came to meet us for our contractor vetting and selections webinar, but we also do have other completed webinars that you can find us on YouTube and on our website that will go over things like the newest legislation, starting your ADU journey if you're in the very beginning of this process. We dive deep into lending, and we'll have some lender guests on some of our webinars that will help you dial into a few specific topics. And so ADU Resource Center, we have our own in-house design team. This is something that's is pretty unique to ADU Resource Center. There's a lot of outsourcing going on nowadays, but our design team is in-house. They're in our office in beautiful Glendale. You can come by and say hi. Uh, we do offer full white glove permitting and expediting. We handle the project from A to Z. And some of you today might be coming in the middle of the race. That's perfectly fine. If you've had your own architectural team put together a set of plans and you're looking for construction, we're perfectly happy to pick up the baton and continue running with it. Uh, Next, we have our own personalized project management. That's a really unique feature that you're going to get when using ADU resource centers. You will have a dedicated project manager that will guide you from A to Z, from the first conversation that we have to here's your keys, move in. You're going to have one person guiding you as an advocate the entire step of the way. Uh, Next, we do have financing and funding available. This is something that we really pride ourselves on. We're not just connecting with one lender. We have an entire collection of lenders. We've done a lot of research in putting together the best team that can offer lending solutions for a variety of needs. Some people, just a quick HELOC is ready and all they need. Some people might need to do a little bit of debt consolidation to put it all together. And some investors might need some specialized financing that is more geared towards them. Um, we'll be glad to guide you through that with a consultation. And finally, we have a construction and project management. So ADU Resource Center is going to be the one that oversees the entire process from A to Z here. We're going to be managing the construction process, making sure everything moves smooth without any disconnects. We'll also be coordinating between the contractors during construction and the architectural team during the design phase. Very good. Danny, you're up with the next slide here.
So recently we all saw the damage. Well, it wasn't recently, shoot, I guess we're coming up on almost a year that the Pacific Palisades and the Altadena fires took place. Surprisingly, there has not been a lot of movement on that. And all of these people in Altadena are very, very close to us in Glendale. We felt compelled to help any way we can. So we've opened a sister division that basically is just for custom home rebuilds and so forth. And because Altadena is so close to us, not that Pacific Palisades is a million miles away, I think we have somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 Altadena clients and maybe 5 Pacific Palisades clients that we're helping. But there was 7,900 people that lost their homes in the fires. So what we wanted to do was take the resources that we have. We have 20 contracting teams have been vetted, and they're the best of the best, and they're more than capable of doing complete home rebuilds from the bottom up. We're seeing a weird pattern though that a lot of the insurance companies are still sort of negotiating with the homeowners. So while we're waiting on them to wrangle their settlement with their main house, a lot of people said, look, I don't want to live in a trailer on my property. I don't want to be displaced and live 40 miles away because I've got temporary, shelter compensation from the insurance company, I'd sure like to be on my property and keep squatters and homeless people and things like that. So we are surprisingly doing quite a bit of ADUs because we can get them permitted very, very fast. I think under 90 days. And that's important to anybody that's lost their home because they want to resume their lives. The kids got to go back to the same school district they belong to. They want to come home and do homework, resume their lives, and this and that. So while we're waiting on the main house rebuild and insurance claim settlement, we could build an ADU for you so that you're not living in a trailer or off-site. And when it's time to start looking at the budget, once we find out what the insurance company is willing to give you, it's very possible that we can design a brand new main house for you. It may not look exactly like what you had, and that's okay. I think there's going to be a complete facelift in both of these communities. It may not look like what it used to. There's going to be a variety of residential homes, multifamily homes, all kinds of different things. So Claro Home, custom home and design build is designed basically as an extension of our company because we're pretty good at it. So if you have a need to talk to us about your particular main house renovation or rebuild, we can more than handle you.
Awesome. Thank you, Danny. Hey, I just noticed something here on that last poll. It says that a lot of you folks, a big majority of you, are just getting started with your ADU projects and in your research phase. Now's an excellent time to get started with a consultation with ADU Resource Center and kind of give you some direction to your research. This particular step of the way, vetting a contractor, is a little bit more geared towards the middle of the race. I do encourage people to get started with an advisor that's going to talk about the architectural design process and getting that going, uh, because selecting and vetting a contractor is more of a middle. You don't do that in the very beginning. You do that kind of in the middle after you've had a set of plans already put together. Um, but I'm glad everybody's here and they're looking for AV services. It's 100% what we do. Um, and to your point, Danny, with a lot of those folks that had their houses burned down in the fires, man, it's absolutely tragic. But I just had a meeting with one of them last night, and we designed a beautiful new house. He's very excited about it, and I wish I had it here for everybody to see. It was a gorgeous Mediterranean style home. He's getting to um, build his dream right now.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what to say. It's a shame, but we are going to do our part. We're their neighbors. We feel compelled to pitch in and help out any way we can, and we give discounts for Altadena and Pacific Palisade residents. So don't be bashful. Be sure and ask for it.
All righty. All right. So, why contractor selection is critical for ADUs and houses in general. Um, and what the biggest reason is the risks involved. Choosing the wrong contractor has pretty significant, serious consequences, including construction costs, delays, added stress. Uh, when if it's not the right person, they, gosh, I would have to say that most people have either a had a contractor experience or have heard about somebody with a contractor experience. And I can't say that every single one of them is positive. I think that most people have something to say that's like, oh, I was frustrated with this or that. Uh, The reality is yes, building an ADU, building a house, doing construction in your home, the heart of your home is kind of being torn up during that time period. It is one of the most stressful and frustrating times. And if you have the right GC, the right people behind you that do a great job at making sure that you have an understanding, a clear path, and knowing that, yes, you're getting into this, but you also have the path of getting out and what it's going to be like in the end. Uh, all right. Some quick red flags to look for and questions to ask of your contractors before hiring. Okay. So in recognizing a few of the red flags that that you definitely can encounter when um, receiving bids. Most of them are based around contractors that are very eager to close a deal. They kind of have this need that they really have to close it because um, they don't have the next job lined up. They don't know where the next money's coming from. Maybe they had a really tough time with their last project and they're a little bit upside down in their funds, and they're eager to get a project started because they need the incoming funds from a new project to take care of an old project. These are some red flags. So the typical way that you find when these things happen is there's when they start giving out promises that just sound too good to be true. If they're too eager, too um, pushing forward too hard, is a real red flag. Low prices are a real indicator that a GC is in financial trouble. The GCs should be charging regular market values similar to the rest of their competition. When you see something that's a really low price, there's a reason why it's low. There's hiding, or they're hiding stuff behind uh, you not understanding the details of a contract. There's going to be mid-project surprises that pop up along the way that will rear their ugly head, and typically it hits you in the pocket where you were least expecting it. Also, keep an eye out right now for any contractor that is charging more than $1,000 deposit before getting started with their work. I know particularly within the Altadena areas, and I've been around in Southern California for a while, and we've had our share of a few disasters every now and then. And when that happens, we get all kinds of contractors that come in and fly in from around the US, and they come in and set up shop over here, uh, get a couple people to sign up because they're desperate, and then they take the money and run. So definitely you don't want to be starting with any deposits more than $1,000 to begin the work. Um, One of the other things that I'm seeing out right now is predatory lending. Uh, be really cautious. There's a lot of ads that I'm seeing out there right now that are offering either equities sharing or zero interest or zero payments until the ADU is completed. Um, it's not that they're going to be stealing your money at this, but they might not be clearly disclosing the true cost to that type of lending. In most cases, I would say people using the equity that's built up in their own home to fund the project is going to be the
Need to come
best,
back.
least expensive loan.
Mike, let me just make a
Yep.
comment on this. Anybody that has is my internet, is my feed coming through, Mike? I got a little
Yes,
warning
sir.
on my screen. Okay. There's a lot of social media ads, build now, pay later. And so we had these companies, we contacted a couple of them because we wanted to hear about the program. We are the tip of the spear when it comes to data and information, particularly if we do educational webinars every month. We want to educate everybody. But we had a presentation, and midway through it, we cut it off. We said, thank you, no, thank you, out. And the long and the short of it is that if it sounds too good to be true, it is. So don't be naive or greedy, because you could get the horror story that you're trying to avoid simply by plugging your ears and hoping it's true, and it's not. And I don't want to go into details on this webinar, but we'll talk about it privately if you want to hear more. If you're thinking about signing up with one of those companies, please talk to me and Michael first before, and we'll kind of unveil and tell you what we found out. It's not what they think it is, and just, beware.
Thank you. Um, a couple key questions to be asking your contractors as you're discussing the project with them. You want to ask them how many projects has that contractor completed, and what challenges did they have? Are they expecting any challenges with your project similar to something that they've experienced before? It's really important to ask a question like this because it probes the contractor to look into your plans and discover what hiccups there are going to be. They're going to use their experience to find the problems before they're problems. Next, we're going to ask to visit contractors, ask to visit projects. contractors have completed many ADU projects close by. If they haven't completed projects or don't have anything ongoing that they're willing to bring you out to, that's a bit of a red flag. But the ADU Resource Center contractors, we all have uh, projects that we can bring you to go and visit when you want to interview that particular contractor. Um, and then also have a question about who will be on site managing the day-to-day activity. Once you're meeting this contractor, please realize that the contractor is not the one at your house swinging the hammer. They're the ones that are responsible for running the business efficiently. You want to have a conversation also with the project manager who's going to be on site day to day and make sure that you're going to have a great gelling relationship with them. All right. So, identifying low bids with contractors, because frankly, low bids are kind of this is where all the horror stories come from. Um, so, when you're looking through a contractor's proposal, look for things like finished product exclusions, uh, allowances that are under market value. For instance, if they want to put in something like, oh, we're going to put in for toilets, you're going to have $100. Well, it's kind of hard to find a toilet for $100. Most of them are in the $200 to $300 range. But if they put in a low allowance, then you're going to end up paying mid-project. Um, and then also be very cautious of short contracts. If the contract isn't highly detailed, going over the complete project scope and everything that's included in each one of the trades, there might be some hidden things that you'll end up paying for in the middle of the process. A couple commonly skipped things on low construction bids, things to look for. Look for exclusions for connections of the sewer or utility connections. This is something that could add up, especially if that requires any digging or trenching through concrete to be able to make those connections. Uh, Fire sprinklers or electrical upgrades. Title 24 compliance. This has to do with your uh, energy efficiency ratings. There's also stormwater control. I've been noticing this one a lot lately because it slips past in the planning department when a set of plans is put out and the plans will have kind of a vague, oh, the water will slope off of the property, flow off the property and into the drains with a 2% slope straight out to the street. But in reality, the property has a slope that goes towards the back of the house, and drainage water is going to run to the back and pool up in the back, not have that clean flow out. Keep an eye out on that because if your slope isn't calculated correctly, you're going to have a surprise when you have to install a pump system to handle the drain water, kick it out to the curb. Um, and beware of over negotiating. Sometimes it might be a particular skill that you have, how um, you can negotiate really well and squeeze down a price on a contractor. Um, the worst thing that can happen is they say yes. What happens if a contractor says yes to a low price? Well, they're going to have to figure out how they're going to be able to get it done for that price. And they might bring in some of lower cost trades or start taking away things that you didn't know you were supposed to have or were going to have if you were paying
Michael,
the full
also
amount.
this is what'll promote change orders. So change orders are that unexpected surprise bump in the middle of a project when it's too late to say no because you've already begun. And so you feel obligated to say yes. And that's how they will recoup if they underbid it. You get one or two or three or four. And finally, when you say, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm not going to be paying for more. You said it was going to be this. And then that's when they sometimes abandon the project completely and disappear. So, not trying to scare you, but be careful what you ask for because you could get it and it could be your worst nightmare. If you're getting bids and you're looking at the lowest one on the bid, they either missed something or they deliberately are buying the bid, and you're going to be going through this process. And we've had customers call us and said, "Hey, I gave my contractor X amount of dollars and I haven't seen him in 3 years. What can I do?" I, that's a tough one. I don't know what to say to that. I don't know what to say. So just if it sounds too good to be true, it is. Generally what we do is when we gather bids, we throw out the high one because they're overcompensating. We throw out the low one because they missed something. And that middle core in the middle, that's usually the real deal. That's usually the truth. So we'll gather a pattern of prices for people, and we use our sensibilities and scope of work, not just square footage price, but based on the scope of work. And that's the right way to do it.
I'd say the ADU Resource Center project managers, our job is to be your advocate. We're going to be there and help guide you through the contractor selection process, and we're going to review the bids with you and point out these little warnings that may exist. Make sure that you are fully understanding what you're getting into before you start with this. All right. So now we're going to talk about a couple key qualities of ADU Resource Center qualified contractors, right? So at ADU Resource Center, Danny mentioned this a little bit earlier. We have 20 contracting teams under ADU Resource Center, and all of them have gone through an extensive vetting process before they're included on our team. Right? We verify things like their licensing and insurance. We make sure that they have ADU specific experience. This is really important because we've definitely run into contractors in the past that have been custom home builders. The scope and scale of a custom home is different than an ADU. You're going to have to bring in every single trade that you would have for a very big house project is the same amount of trades that you're going to have to bring in for this small ADU. The cost doesn't scale linear. Okay. Um, we do want to look for contractors that have ADU experience because they will have foresight. They're going to look at the plans and they'll catch the potential problems for their problems because they've seen it before. Also, this is a really big one. We make sure that our contractors are financially stable. There are quite a few contractors out there that are running a fine wire, making sure one job is paying for the next job, and they have to get the next job to pay for the last job. This is something that we do not tolerate. All of our contractors with ADU Resource Center are going to be vetted for their financial stability before working with us. Um, Technical expertise and project management. The When we're looking over the projects, we're going to be reviewing the plans. Let's say if we get a set of plans that's from outside of ADU Resource Center, we're going to have an initial review of those plans because sometimes different architectural teams will have different strategies in the way that they run the plans through the city. Sometimes they leave a bit of detail left out to make sure that the plans can progress through the city really quickly. But if it moves to a contractor that doesn't see that maybe this was left out just to make sure it went through fast, and if it wasn't cat at construction, it could be a problem a little bit later. Um, well, one of the things that I talked about with the stormwater runoff, that's one of them. Uh, Next, we're looking for in their contract, we're looking for transparent pricing. We want to make sure that all of the project's pricing is clearly defined. We want our contractors to have a guarantee that everything that's in the set of plans is comprehensively included in your project. No surprises with ADU Resource Center. If it's in the plans, you get it. It's in the contract.
Also, Michael, I think we want a consistent template when bidding so that there's nobody adding exclusions. Our only two exclusions are going to be solar and appliances. So every bid is going to be the same so that we can make a fair comparison. And the only exclusions, we don't want them picking out your appliances. They'll install them. So on the week that you're going to have your appliances installed, so if you need a washer and dryer, a range, a refrigerator, and a microwave, just pick them out on yourself. I'm pretty sure you could probably hammer all that stuff out for around $4,000 or less at Home Depot, Lowe's, or Best Buy. If you have them delivered, we'll install them at no additional charge. So appliances are the only exclusion aside from solar if it's required on detached ADUs. And the reason why it's not included is because our solar companies do their own financing. So it's not necessarily needed for the contractor to include that. But other than that, everything should be turnkey
Not exterior landscaping. Landscaping is something
and
that
hardscaping.
landscaping and hardscaping. Yeah, and that's just because I think it's really beneficial to have the ADU in place to see the scale of the building before designing the exterior, uh, how the exterior and the plants are going to look. At least have framing done before we get started on that portion of the project.
Right.
Um, One of the other things that's important is to have allowances in the projects. If the contract doesn't clearly state allowances for the finished materials, the things that you can touch with your hands, like the like flooring or cabinets and countertops, um, oftentimes that's a red flag that says, oh, they're putting in the cheapest of cheap things. They should definitely have a definition of how much each one of those is allotted for. This also gives you, the consumer, a little bit of flexibility. You get to customize your ADU because even though you have an allowance, a certain amount of money to set aside for maybe your tile work in your bathroom, you might go to Floor and Decor, you might go to Bedrosian's Tile, and you might find some absolutely beautiful tile and decide that you want to put that in your ADU. The way that all of the ADU Resource Center bids are going to work is it's going to be allowance based. You'll get, say, $3 a square foot for tile as a standard, but you're more than welcome to go to shop for it. You'll find tiles at the store that are less than $1 a square foot, but you might even find tiles there that are $30 a square foot. Uh, don't rule those out. Some of those bathrooms that we've done where they've put in some gorgeous tile, it really makes this project stand out. Use those allowances and save a couple of extra bucks in your back pocket just to make sure that you have, a little more to make your ADU a little something special. Um, Effective communication, right? So participation in our communication systems and project management practices enables a smooth collaboration. Um, it's very important for you to have direct contact with the contractor, the project manager, the AD Resource Center project manager, and the architects as needed. And what I found the best way to communicate between everybody is simply a group text message. Putting everybody together in one communication is excellent. We want to make sure that when there's a question of timeline, that everybody's involved, everybody's all elected together. Um, Collaborative coordination. ADU Resource Center, we find it very important that, especially when projects go through our own architectural development design, that our contractors are partners with our architectural team. It's all one and the same. They're all our team. So you're not going to end up finding a GC that points the finger back at the architect and say, it's their fault that they made this mistake, and the architect doing the other thing, pointing back saying, no, you did it wrong, you installed it wrong. There's no fighting back and forth. There's only clear, clear, this is how we fix the problem, this is how we move forward, make sure that it's an equitable resolution, everybody's happy, move forward. Uh, and then we also have a very proactive contractor approach. So good contractors participate in challenges and identify potential issues up front. I touched on this a little bit earlier, but it's very important to have a contractor that spends a little bit more time than just looking at the front page of your architectural set of plans and say, this one's 500 square foot. Maybe 350 times 500 is how much I'm going to charge. That's not how projects are bid. A good contractor is going to go through all the details of the plans. They're going to go through the structural engineering. They're going to go through things like stormwater management things and make sure that if they see something that is not necessarily covered in the plans, but after they've been on site and after they've had conversations with you, they will say, hey, you're probably going to want to add this, and have that discussion in the beginning of the project. Right. And now we're going to go over how to review and compare contractor estimates. All right. So when reviewing contractor estimates, the first thing that you're looking for is a very detailed and defined scope of work. Run and hide from that GC that only puts on their scope of work, build and construct a 400 square foot garage conversion. That's not what we're looking for. I want to see multiple pages of details in exactly what they're including and what is not included, what are they going to be your allowances. Everything should be detailed out. It should tell you exactly what kind of drywall, what kind of stucco that you have on the exterior, what type of roofing they're going to have, what type of flooring materials are going to be used, whether it's going to be a laminate or a luxury vinyl, or if you want to have tile floors throughout. This needs to be detailed in that scope of work. Those details should also be broken down clearly by trade. So you're going to see um, in the demolition, you're going to see what is all included, and that it includes the dumpster and everything to haul out and grade the project before starting the framing. When it comes time for, say, your electrician, the electrician should have it clearly defined what um, maybe how many outlets are going to be there. Um, they're going to talk about, oh, if there's going to be extra outlets installed, what are their potential costs? Do you want to add smart home features to the ADU? These details need to be in place on the contract. Right. Um, site site preparation must be included. This is one of those little red flags that if it's not on the contract, expect it to be a surprise extra cost. Uh, Site preparation is really important. If there was a tree there, those trees need to be removed. A little bit of grading to make sure that the yard is flat before we put uh, down the foundations for the ADU. Make sure that that is detailed out and added to your contract so it doesn't become a surprise later. Uh, Pricing by milestone. This is really important here too. You want to see a clear breakdown of the pricing and at what point contractor is expecting to be paid for that portion of work. By milestone is much better, in my opinion, simply because it is usually corresponding directly to a completion point that is signed off by a city inspector. So they do the demolition, they put down the foundation. The inspector comes out, signs off, done, perfect payment. Right. Next step, they do framing. Framing materials are delivered. You see the materials delivered in your yard. Great. Sign off, payment point. Framing goes up, then you see it's completed. Inspector comes, signs off, payment point. These are milestone payments. This is the best way together an overall project.
Mike, let me just
Danny, you had
add
something to
some.
say about that?
Yeah, I just want to say that there's going to be a time when a customer says, look, every time I get an inspection, we have to wait on the inspector. And when they finally show up, because when we call for an inspection, for example, we'll say, can you come out on Monday? And the inspector says, which Monday? So we're not guaranteed that we're going to get waited on right away. The other thing is that we have to be mindful of is you haven't ordered your building materials yet for the next phase. That's going to come out of the payment that you're going to pay them for the existing milestone. So imagine that there may be 10 milestones. And every time you pay them for what they just did, they take that money, they pay their crew, they order your materials for the next phase, and there it could be days before the product arrives. And you're going to go, hey, these guys are not here. What's going on? Well, the, the waiting on the building materials to arrive. So multiply that by 10 milestones or 10 inspections, you could say, well, gee, this has taken longer than I'd hoped. There is a workaround, and we'll talk to you about it privately, but it involves a leap of faith if you have the right contractor. And you might want to order some of your building materials early, especially if there's unusual size windows that we know are not going to be readily available. And they're particular, like if you're ordering a Milgard or an Anderson window that's an unusual size, we need to get that ordered now in the beginning. and it may take 3 months. So we certainly don't want to wait till the milestone to order it because then you're going to be really unhappy. So there are workaround tricks where we can help you fast track your project. It's still within the milestone philosophy which we endorse and support. But every now and then there's going to be a very time sensitive project, and we'll show you how to speed that up.
Um, I would also say that your contract must have a clearly defined start date, and it should have a completion timeline. It should have an end date. Now, the end date is not set in stone because there are a few variables, and we need to understand, hey, whether can it be something that has an influence on this overall project. There could also be delays with an inspector coming out. There's a few cities that we've worked with that inspectors might take 3, 4 weeks to even show up for an inspection. Most cities are a little faster. This is a special occasion, right? Sometimes those things happen. And I can't hold a contractor accountable to a time frame that he's not directly influencing. Um, so please be a little bit patient with the overall timeline, but the contractors should not be, at least AD or resource center contractors won't be putting down timelines that are deceptive. We're not going to tell you, oh, it's going to be done so fast, and then knowing that it's going to take a couple months more longer than that. But we want to be clear. We want to make sure that you understand what the overall timeline should be, when the completion date should be. And if there are delays, then the delays are clearly communicated when the delay happens and for how long that delay was, so that you can add that time to the end of the project completion timeline and still have an idea of exactly when this is going to be done. Moving on. Allowances, exclusions, and custom options. Now, this is the designer in me gets really excited about this portion of the project. Um, I really like when folks, if you kept a little couple extra dollars in your back pocket to make your ADU beautiful, it it'll pay back dividends. Um, in the
Mhm.
overall scheme of things, a few extra bucks a month to the overall monthly payment on this buys you a gorgeous tile. It buys you that beautiful countertop, that stone countertop with the sweeping veins through it. It's going to be that extra thing that gives you permission to make this ADU unique, gorgeous. Please do it. The way that we have all of our contractors work is based off of material finish allowances. These allowances will allow you to go and select the material that you want. Like I had that explanation with the tiles. For instance, a tile, we give an allowance of $3 per square foot. But if we look over here in this customized finish picture with the black tile with the little, it's a small, intricate mosaic. It looks gorgeous behind that vanity, but that's a $30 square foot tile. As you look at that, how many square feet are there? Not very much, right? So 30 times what? It's not very expensive when you look at it at the end of the project, right? So please save a couple bucks, explore what you can. And you know, the contractors are excited about this too. They're going to help guide you to some beautiful product. Um, but it's critical that the allowance are there in place because that's your guarantee that the project is completable in the budget proposed. In the overall total amount of that contract, the allowances will always include middle of the road type product. And you'll be able to see those products used in a lot of our projects as we share videos of some of our past projects or maybe invite you out to an open house. Uh, you'll get to see what's included as a standard, and then you'll get to see what extra options really end up
Mike,
buying.
before we forget, you brought up something I want to make sure that everybody knows about, and that's the open house. When you do as much volume as we do, we have the luxury of having private ADU showings. But because we're also a general contractor that does main houses, we have an unusual project. Not unusual, it's a good one. In Los Angeles this Saturday from 10 o'clock till 2 o'clock, we'll be doing a private viewing of a completely renovated main house and a garage ADU conversion, all in one on the same property. So if you're thinking about maybe looking at contractors, well, you might want to start with an open house just so you can see the work up close. Unfortunately, we won't have the contractor on site this weekend because it's the holidays and everybody's planning for Christmas and doing stuff. But normally we have, sometimes we'll have the architects on staff to answer questions. Sometimes we'll have the contracting team out there. All of our project managers invite our customers out there that are saying, "Yeah, I think I'm about ready to make a decision either on design or on construction." So almost every Saturday we try to have something, as long as it's about 90 to 95% done. When it's 100% done, they kick us out because somebody's moving in. When it's not 90 or 90% done, there's not much to see. So it's hard to time it between that 90 and 95%, but we're pretty good. We got a lot of projects. So almost every Saturday we have something that we can show you. So at some point, Mike, I don't know if we have a link in the chat box, but we'll have to make sure that everybody knows if they do want to come, they need to RSVP.
It's in Silver Lake, really centrally located to all of LA. I hope you all get to come out and see it. Um, One of the other things that we want to talk about is project exclusions. Now, sometimes a contractor might exclude something because they know that you are still in the decision-making process. You haven't chosen yet. And then there's a couple other things that are very clear exclusions like this one. City fees, your city fees that you'll end up paying, your permit fee, that is something that you pay to the city. And sometimes it works out that the contractor ends up pulling the permit and they'll show you exactly what the permit cost is. And then you pay the contractor back for the permit fee. You're not going to pay a premium on that. It's going to be exactly whatever the city charges. Um, Surveys. Occasionally, we'll need to have a survey done, especially if you're going to be building your ADU right up against the property line or as all the way close to that 4 foot setback from the property line. The inspector will require a third-party surveyor to come out and mark the exact locations of property lines so we know that measurement was taken accurately. Uh, and then unforeseen conditions. These things do come up. They're rare, right? If you have we had a project not too long ago that we started digging the foundation for the ADU only to discover that the previous homeowner had filled in their pool and didn't do it correctly with permits and just put some dirt on top of it. And when we started digging to put the foundation for our ADU, we discovered that, hey, there's a pool here that's buried under the dirt. Now, this is clearly an unforeseen condition. There's no way that the GC could have, from the outside looking in, look at this landscaped yard and known that there's a buried pool under there. These are the types of unforeseen conditions that when they come up, hey, we obviously have to exclude and be able to um, kind of pivot when things like that happen. Now, what shouldn't be an unforeseen condition is something like connecting utilities. That's what I was saying earlier. If you see that's missing from your contract, the connection of utilities, that's a red flag because that means they're hiding cost. This is entirely foreseeable. And the connections of utilities should be included in your contract. There are a couple times when mm, there's a couple times when you might have maybe a sewer connection and you dig out and maybe have one of those really old houses that has clay pipes and there's damage to the clay pipe. That's unforeseeable until you actually do the digging and connect to it and then discover, hey, the clay pipes are broken here. That's what you can expect as a potential unforeseeable condition. All right. Now we have payment schedules, change orders, and warranties. Payment schedules are really important. The contract will clearly define exactly what's due and when. And just like the milestone checkpoints, at the completion of a milestone is going to be when payment becomes due. It'll be clearly defined, laid out in the contract. You'll know exactly when it happens, and it'll be signed off by the inspector before that next payment's due. Change orders. there's good change orders and there's bad change orders. The bad change orders are the ones that you didn't want to happen, the surprises, the unforeseen conditions. And then there's going to be plenty of change orders that come from your choices. You're going to see as you get started in this project, you might go, oh, well, what if I build this? There's a nice backyard out here. What if I build out a patio? I might want to put a hardscape, some pavers out here and put a patio set. Well, that's going to be an elective change order that you're going to add to the project along the way. These types of things we encourage. Now, change orders like a surprise, there's a pool buried in your backyard. Um, yeah, we do have to accommodate for those. Warranties. Now, there's a couple things when it comes to warranties that some folks don't quite catch, and sometimes the contract doesn't show it clearly. You'll pretty much always see in a contract a 1 year warranty that'll cover fit and finish. Everything that goes in, everything that you can touch is going to be covered under the manufacturer or the contractor's 1 year fit and finish warranty. Um, but there are a few extra warranties that are afforded to you by the state, that are guaranteed to you by the state, that aren't coming from the contractor's contract. And that's the 2 and 5 year warranties for things like plumbing systems, paint, exterior pathways, electrical systems. And then there's even longer warranties for the foundational and structural elements, like the 10-year warranty for framing foundations. All right, taking the next steps here. And so, guidance for homeowners and plans and scheduling a consultation. What are the next steps looking like? Um, so we kind of have a split off point. Some people have brought plans, they have plans, and they're ready to have a contractor bid on them. And then there's going to be quite a few of you that are starting out your project right now, and you're going to follow a slightly different path. If I'm going to encourage all of you to start with a quick consultation, because the consultation is going to get you paired up with a project manager that's going to give you guidance with your specific timing in how you're where you're at in the project. If you're starting from the beginning right now, if you're walking, if you're crawling and just going slow and learning right now, we're going to have we might guide you to a couple of our existing webinars where you're going to learn a lot about the details of getting started on a project, take you a little bit of slow path, learn a lot of information, learn about lending, learn about these things. Um, and then we'll also set up a time where we can go over your property from a satellite view on a video call and talk about where your ADU can be placed. We'll talk about some of the zoning requirements and how big it can be. We'll talk about your needs. And from your needs, we'll make recommendations on the best type of ADUs that will fit those needs. We can also give great advice for funding and financing a project. Some folks run this a little bit backwards. They say, I have this much of a budget. What can I do with it? And then we'll give guidance on exactly how you can manipulate your ADU to fit a particular budget, or we can start with the designing of the ADU first and then make sure the budget, find the money later. And if you're starting your project, if you've already started your project, you already have plans, then the next step for you is to gather those plans. You might have just barely submitted them to the city and they're not ready, they're not RTI or ready to issue permits just yet. They might still have a little bit of way to go with the city before they're finally approved, but I would encourage you to get started soon. Send us the plans and then we can start to guide you with the funding and financing of your ADU. Make sure that you have all your ducks in a row. Once those plans are approved, you'll have your estimates and your contractor selected. So you can be boots on the ground ready to build right when you get your plans approved. Preparing estimates. When it comes to preparing estimates, I would say that if you're very early in this stage, you're not ready yet for a formal estimate. What you're ready for is an estimated range and what to expect from contractors. Just get a kind of a guideline of what you're going to expect in terms of a price range. As you get closer to RTI, when your plans are ready to be approved, the city's already gone through and worked out the details. They've gone back and forth with the architect. They've made the changes that are necessary, and there's not going to be a whole lot of surprises when they're about a month out from being reviewed. And that's when we're going to have the contractors put together the formal estimates where you'll see the details of each contract broken down. Right? Um, Please sign up for a consultation. There's going to be a link in the chat right now. The consultations, they're free, they're very informative. They're going to be detailed to your specific project. We're going to go over your specific details. We typically start out with a phone or a video call to go over your project, and then from there we'll come out on site, have a detailed review of your property and make sure that we document everything, great communication back and forth as we put together the construction bids from the AD Resource Center contractors. That way you don't have to have all of the contractors come out to your house and bombard you with their bids and ruin all your weekends from here out for the next couple months. We're doing that for you. We're going to come be the one person that comes out to the property. We're going to take pictures. We're going to understand your project, and we're going to be the liaison between you and the contractor, guiding you to which ones will help narrow it down. And we'll say, okay, probably going to be these two are going to be the best contenders. Let's get these two out to give formal estimates and meeting and pick from the two. But we'll help narrow that down to the right GCs for you. And then from there, you'll make your final decision. And I kind of touched on this with the last slide already. It's where we're talking about where you're at if you have your plans already, or if we're starting from the very beginning, what to expect. I kind of we talked about this in the past slide. All right, time for some live Q&A. Now, have you all posted any questions that you have in the chat so we can go over any questions with the group?
I don't see that anybody's posted a question, so let's just kind of see if everybody knows how their tools work. At the bottom of the screen, you can raise your hand. So there's going to be let me see if I can figure out where it's at. Where you can raise your hand and we can unmute you and we can have you ask a question. So it's going to be under React. So click on that, and if you see a little hand signal that kind of looks like that, click on it and we'll see it. If you have a question, we've got a little bit of time before we have to click off, and we'll do our best to see if we can answer your questions. So let me see if there's anybody that has a hand. Oh, Vasquez family. So let's see if we can ask to unmute the Vasquez family. We'll start with you.
Hello.
Can you hear us? Can you? Yeah, we can hear you. How are you?
Oh,
Welcome to the show.
hey, thank you. Doing well. Thank you. I actually posted a question earlier. I don't know if I did it right. Uh,
We didn't see it. That's okay. Ask us.
so my question was, one of the questions, I believe Michael said there's allowances when you guys there are certain allowances for the contractor, and then the homeowner can go ahead and if they want to choose like more expensive tile and make like let's say for example your bathroom a little higher quality than your standard whatever you use. So my question was, when you do that, will the contractor charge more money for installation of a more expensive material, something more complex, for example, using subway tile or a 12 by 12 tile opposed to like a herringbone type uh, style?
I don't think so. I think no, normally what'll happen is if we're comparing apples and apples, if tile is tile is tile, and you didn't pick out something unusual that's not tile that would require a different bonding technique. Um, and this is very, very common because a lot of people say, okay, I have my budget. I have everything laid out. Every single component in the ADU has an allowance and has a budget. So every room has a budget. So if you said, well, we kind of went to floor and decor and we fell in love with this tile, our allowances say $2.65 per square foot on on anything miscellaneous. It could be flooring, could be tile, could be anything. But you found something for $3. Get it. Pay the difference, right? Because we want you to be happy. We want you to design and develop and build with love. Just because the allowance fits the budget, a couple extra bucks for you to fall in love with it, it's money well spent. We want you to do that. Now, we won't raise the budget, but you're entitled to. You can, certainly.
Some
So
of the things that you asked, there are some materials that could increase because there's a significantly more difficult installation process. For instance, if you switch the flooring to a wood floor and you're trying to do a herringbone wood floor, yeah, that's going to be more expensive. But that'll be clearly broken down, and it's a discussion that you can have with the contractor. But most people, if you have this concept in your mind that that's a product that you want to incorporate, this is something that you can do in the beginning of the process. Share with your contractor, hey, I've got a couple pictures that I've collected on my Pinterest board. These are the things that I want to include in my ADU. I'm going to share them with you in advance and include these items in my construction estimate. That can be done.
thank you.
Um, okay, there's a couple of questions. Let me see if I can. Rick is asking about lien releases from the GC and or subcontractor. All right, Rick, let's get you on the line because I need to know a little bit more before I say anything. So, Rick, are you there so we can oh, yeah, you are there. Let me unmute you. Ask to unmute.
He is
Rick,
unmuted.
okay, Rick, can you hear us? All right. Well, I'm going to move to Israel.
Well, I can answer Rick's question because I think I got an idea of what he's asking. I'm pretty familiar with the lien releases and what some folks are a little bit worried about when it comes to lien releases. So, as a contractor, when a contractor hires a subcontractor underneath them to complete a particular task, they're the tiling guy. They come in, they do the tile work. Now, a subcontractor legally has the ability to put a lien on a project. It's called a notice of lien waiver. This is not a lien. It's not the scary thing. Um, what it is it's they're notifying you that they're legally allowed to, just in case the general contractor doesn't end up paying them, that they have a guarantee that they end up getting paid from the homeowner. This is guaranteed to you by the law. It's guaranteed to the contract, the individual trades by law. Now you'll find that a reputable, reliable contractor will not have their independent trades providing you with a a notice of a notice of a lien. Now remember, a notice of a lien is not a lien. It's just telling you that they can legally do it if they needed to. Now, a lien waiver, what you're asking for is after the work is completed and after you've paid for that portion of the project, the contractor then pays for that tradesman. They pay for those services, they're done. Then there's what's called a lien waiver. That lien waiver says that particular trade can no longer act on put a lien on the property. They're done, they're paid, there's no problems. Now, um, if you request this of any of our contractors, they will provide it to you. But the reality is, you don't need that necessarily unless you're dealing with kind of an unscrupulous contractor that's hiring some shady trades. With your resource center, we root those out before they even get an opportunity to bid on your project.
Okay. There's
I
a
hope I
question,
answered that
and
well for you.
there's a question that DN asks, and then we'll get to Israel. DN asks, if I go the independent route, I am concerned about the actions of the contractor on my neighbors. specifically disruptions, breaking municipal code laws because they run behind schedule, and work on, say, a Sunday, for example. Are there any contractors, GCs, that actually play by the rules? Well, yes, there are, but I can't guarantee the ones that you're going to be selecting do, but ours do. So one of the things that you should sit down when you have a real qualified general contractor is go over the do's and don'ts. You can schedule the time when which what we call allowable work time. Now, do contractors like to get up early? Sure, but we don't all want to hear noise real early. So you have to set the timing, what's allowable on your property, and be mindful and respectful of your neighbors. They're all going to want to bug out of there early, because they're willing to put in a full shift, but they're willing to get started earlier than most of us want to. So you'll have to define when the okay hours are. And if Sunday is off the table, just make it very, very clear. Even if you fall behind, please don't be disruptive on certain days that I just don't want to annoy or disrupt my neighbors. That's very realistic if you bring it up, and you should on every case.
All cities will have a code regarding this, and all contractors will follow this code. Now, you may say, hey, I don't mind if you come in on Sunday. I'm hoping to get this done a little bit faster, but don't be noisy because it's going to bother my neighbor. Fine. We might bend the rule a little bit there, but the rules are clearly defined by each city has their specific timelines of when noise can happen and what days.
Okay, Israel, can you hear us?
Hi guys. Yes, can you
Hello.
guys hear me?
Sure can. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate the webinar. So for real estate investor side of things, so if the house, let's just say, is getting work done, renovated, or maybe some cosmetic, and then there's enough maybe for a 2-1 in the backyard for an ADU. Exactly when is, or are you guys need to be contacted in order for to give me a quote in that sense as far as the project goes?
Are you already the property owner?
Not yet.
Okay. So let's be sensible, is probably the right word. I think it's probably inappropriate for us to do a lot of work on the property if you're not the legal property owner, because number one, none of us have permission to be there yet, really, But the minute you are, if you want to, and there's another, there are some things we can do. Like Michael was talking about earlier, we can get a surprisingly a large amount done on a Google Earth call, where we look down at the proposed property that maybe you're in the middle of escrow, but it's not done, but you're in a hurry. Well, let's schedule a video call first, and let's just sort of talk about what's the scope of work. I mean, how every property has at least 4, possibly 5 different ADU combinations that'll fit. So let's see which one fits this, the application of what, if it's going to be for a rental application or if it's going to be for family, whatever the case may be. You'd be surprised what we can get done on a video call. The technology is fantastic, and the measuring tool on Google Earth is surprisingly accurate. So we can pretty much take screenshots, overlay our own floor plans on top of it, email it back, and you go, well, there you go. What do you think? How's this going to look? And you're going to go, good Lord, that was easy. So even if we can't walk the property and put flags down, which eventually we will, there's a lot that can be done on a video call, a lot.
Okay. All right. And you guys also do garage conversion, right? Into a bedroom or two?
Oh yeah. As a
100%.
matter of fact, this Saturday, if you want to see one in person, I don't know if Vic put anything in the chat box about the location, but I think what we should do, Vic, if you're on, is maybe get a link in there so that they can click on it and register, and then we'll because it's a private property, we can't post it publicly. It's not our property, but I can send you an invite, and we can put you on the RSVP guest list for Saturday. It's from 10 o'clock until 2. But for example, this particular project is a 400 square foot detached garage that's converted into a studio ADU. So anybody who wants to see what's an ADU look like once it's converted from a garage, come on out Saturday. Or if you want to say, well, I have some honeydews on my main house. I may want to, I may need a kitchen remodel. I might need a makeover in the bathroom, whatever. This
Okay.
is a good chance to see everything in one clean sweep. And this is our last open house for the year, guys, because obviously we can't compete with Santa Claus. So we're going to call it a year after this Saturday, and we'll pick up the trail next month in January. And like I said, stay in touch with us and keep with give us a way to get a hold of you. We're happy to send you an invite. Now, our service territory is kind of big, so we can't always guarantee it's in on your street. So we work from Ventura down to San Diego and all the way out to Imperial County and Palm Springs. That is a massive territory. And we have open houses mostly in greater Los Angeles, sometimes Orange County, Riverside, and Inland Empire, but primarily in the greater Los Angeles area. And I don't know why, just we just get a lot of clients from that neck of the woods. But periodically we'll get something in Orange County or South Orange County or San Diego. But let us know that you're interested in being on our keep you informed list, and we'll add you.
Yes,
I
please.
want to add
And
a little something
also
to that too.
one
The
one last question.
Yeah.
Are you guys actually, because I live in North Bay Area side of things.
Mhm.
So do you guys have like affiliate or contractors that's already set up?
Kind of, yes and no. So you can imagine this is very, very big in Northern California as well. And so we have network partners that we work with that are, you know what, we're competitors, but in non-competing territories, which makes us partners. So we have referral affiliates that we can refer you to. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. That's all.
I wanted to
Oh,
add something to that. Maybe you haven't, if you're planning on coming and visiting, you want to come and visit a ADU that is completed, you want to come and do one of our open houses, but maybe this weekend just doesn't work for you, please still click on that link and register. And what we'll do is we're going to add you to our text message list. So when we do have an open house, you'll be notified and you'll say, hey, oh, well, yep, I want to sign up and go to that one. And then we'll send you an invitation. We'll come and invite you to that one. But just because it's not this weekend that you can't make it, please still sign up to that invitation list.
okay. Couple of questions in the chat list. Vasquez family, you're in Napa Valley. We're not actually going to be set up to help you, Mr. Vasquez or Mrs. Vasquez. However, if you want us to give you a reference or referral, we can certainly help you. Who's next there? Wendy Cooper, do y'all have architectural plan options or is everything customized? So, Wendy, I'm going to ask you to wave your hand because I need to know a little bit more about your questions so I can answer it more accurately. So, if you are there, put your little hand up so we can unmute you. Maybe I can find you. I found you. Okay. Ask to unmute. Can you hear me, Wendy?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Can you paraphrase your question for me, please?
Well, this is, I am actually, I don't know how I stumbled on y'all, but I'm in Georgia. So
Wow.
I'm all the way across the country
And boy, are
and
your arms tired.
I
Okay.
know, I know, right? But my question really was around if you have plans that are available that I know what the site looks like. I know there's going to be some site challenges, but I'm trying to figure out. I have a survey, and I'm trying to figure out the architects is kind of my next piece, and whether does your team have architects that could modify some of the plans? There's a million plans that are out there for these
Yes.
kinds of things. Or do you have a book of, plans that these are kind of your standards and some minor customization can be made from those?
Wendy, we've done over 600 designs and all of them were from scratch. But we kept a pretty good gallery and library to choose from, so we can share some of these. We share quite a lot. That way, people can have a little inspiration. So one of the benefits of doing volume like we did is we have a huge catalog to choose from. So when we need ideas, remember the ADUs are going to come in three basic shapes: squares, rectangles, and L shapes, unless they're two-story. Well, there's only so much you can do to a box, as you well know. So it's got to have a kitchen, bedroom, bathroom, living room. So all we have to do is sort of have a, hit list of what are the important things, how many bedrooms you think you want, how many bathrooms. Do you have room for a square, a rectangle, or an L shape that might fit into a corner? And from there, I'm sure we've got a lot of stuff to share with you that you could get some inspiration and ideas from. I don't, the thing about technology nowadays, everything can be done over the internet, including designing your plans, even in Georgia for you. So, I don't know. Let's talk a little bit. Let's see if there's something that we can do to help.
Okay, I appreciate it. This has been very informative, by the way.
Good, good. Okay, let's see. Lori, if you what if I want to handle all of it? Handle all of it. Do you work in Joshua Tree? Sure, we do. So again, technology is a wonderful thing. We can work just about anywhere. We prefer to work in Southern California, just simply because that's where our network of talent, our talent pool is all in Southern California, which Joshua Tree is. Not so much in Georgia, but in Joshua Tree. So yeah, hit us up, talk to us, give us a little bit of idea of what your vision or what your goal is, and I'm sure we can do a video call, look down at the property together, and figure something out. I'm pretty positive we can. SM question: Your company vetting contractors, you're, but you are not a general contractor. We never said that. We never said that, SM. We are a licensed general contractor. But I'll tell you one thing, he pulls his hair out when he gets more than he can handle. So, in order to do 600 projects, you can imagine that's not a job for one contractor. It's not. So, we needed helping hands, which is why we have 20 teams, not just one. But to answer your question, yes, we are a licensed GC. Um, Domingo Salazar, if there is an already attached garage conversion ADU built on the property, work was done in late 2017, can it be extended for a larger living space, or does it have to be rebuilt from the ground up? No, not at all. If it's permitted and it's finished, yeah, let's just modify it. Now, California says that you can build up to 1,200 square feet, but each city has their own separate ordinances. So let's imagine that your city may say that well, for example, we're in Glendale, and Glendale says, I don't care what California says, you can't build over 1,000 square feet here in Glendale. So our Glendale customers are relegated to 1,000 square foot. As long as we know what your city is allowable, sure, we can take what you got and probably expand on it, no problem. Let me
And
make
Domingo, if yours was built before the ADU ordinance was in place and maybe you don't have permits, there is a path towards legalization right now. If it wasn't built with permits, we can still go back and permit it. We might have to do a few things to it to bring it up to code. We still have to put a complete set of plans together and submit it through the city and make sure it's approved. But there's a path to legalizing if it's not.
okay. Jessica. Okay, so Jessica's doing a little side hustle on our chat here. I'm teasing. All right. What else we got? Let's see. Who's next? Jerry Gonzalez. Do you have factory built ADU units or on-site built only? We have both. So I will tell you, without question, there is no other company besides AD Resource Center in the entire state of California that does both custom ground up brick and mortar and factory built or prefab. We do both. Now it's taken some time. I have 37 years in manufactured housing. So we got approached by every manufacturer you can imagine because of our sheer size and popularity. And they were willing to white label their prefab for us to sell with our logo on it, which we said, that's no, thank you. Quite honestly, it took us a while, but we found one company that we did a factory tour, and we've been to several, including Boxable, And we found one company that we said, okay, this is a quality built product. This is as good as anything that we built. And it's good. And it's called Silvercrest. And they're based out of Corona, California. So we are a Silvercrest dealer. But out of all the I beg your pardon, and Skyline, Silvercrest and Skyline. So those are the only two. And there's a lot of brands out there, and I'm going to be nice, so I'm not going to say what I think. But remember, I have a 37-year history in manufactured housing, so I know how they're supposed to be built. We are a prefab builder. So if you say, well, I don't really want to wait on the time, go to the Silvercrest website, look at the ADU models that they produce, and if you see one you like, let's talk about it. Let's see what we can do. The timeline on the prefab just simply means you're not waiting around on design and permits and so forth. So if you say, look, I don't have the time to wait on permitting. I need to fast track something right now, and this is going to be just fine. It could be for my mom, it could be for my son or my daughter, but I need it, and I need it fast. We can probably get it on the property done in 6 months. So if you want to go to that website and look at it, or contact us and we'll send you links of floor plans and we can talk further about that. But yes, we are a prefab builder. We're the only custom builder that's also prefab. Let's see what else. Mark, can I send you an ADU plan I designed? And can you guys provide a quote for the GC? I'm in Sacramento. Um, Kind of, Mark. I'm not being evasive, but Sacramento's not really our wheelhouse. So as you know, the contractors factor in commute time and distances from point A to point B. Would we be able to give you a forecasted range? Sure, but I don't know that any of our regional contractors in Southern Cal would be actually interested in doing it. But if you just want us to give you a ballpark, yeah, that's what we do. We're good at that. And unfortunately, you'd have to probably vet your own contractors in Sacramento, unfortunately.
We do
Um,
have some friends up there. We can give good
We
recommendations
do. We
of
do.
good places people to
We
talk
have
to.
some people that we can refer you to that we would absolutely endorse. We do. So maybe that's a smarter route to go rather than us give you something. We'll just introduce you to the people that can, and then you can talk straight to the horse's mouth. Let's see what else. I don't know that there's anyone else asking. Okay, if we answered everyone's question, just to give me a little, how many people do we got still on here? Do we have, well, let me see if I can see how many people we still have on. Quite a few. Okay. Um, of the people that are on, is there any questions that we haven't addressed so far? If so, just hit the little hand symbol and we'll address it verbally. If not, speak now or forever hold your peace, because I think Michael is about done. I don't see any hands, Michael.
Oh, all right. Well, I appreciate
Oh, hang
everybody
on,
for. Oh,
Vasquez family's
oh,
not
they were
done.
clapping.
Oh, okay.
That
Okay.
was applause.
All right. All right.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody joining the webinar and sticking through with us and learning a little bit about how to properly vet your contractors, learn about what to look for in their construction estimates. And I do realize that everybody's on a different pace. And maybe if you needed a little bit more
You
detail than
are
what we've covered in this, please schedule a consultation with us. And that consultation, we're going to we'll review your project specifically at your speed.
okay. Other than that, that's
Oh,
all I
maybe
got.
we got a last minute question. Wait, we got one more. Um, Domingo says, sorry, last minute question. The ADU I mentioned has a gas line and electric built in, might have to be redone. So if you have a gas line and electric, so remind me, Domingo, were you can we um, give him a microphone so he can talk to us about his project? Can we unmute him? Domingo, are you there?
Hey, Domingo, I we were having technical difficulties. Would you type your contact
Hello?
number?
I'm so sorry. Hello?
Oh, there you are. There you are.
Yes. Hi. Yes. So what was the clarification? Oh, this was for the 2017-ish 2018 conversion done a couple years ago, and I do appreciate that. I might need to have that reevaluated to see if it's a permit, if I have the right permits for it or whatever process I might need to do. But it was done a while ago, and there's a gas line connected and electricity connected, and plumbing, obviously, water running. All of those things were done, and I don't know, to be frank, whether I mean, to be able to even do that, if that was done through the city, to be quite honest. I know it's connected to our main house line, so it's kind of like they didn't do it whole cloth directly to the street. It's sort of done built out through the existing main house, if that makes sense. So I guess my question is, if it's done like that, is it possible to either just verify that it's safe, I guess, or allowable as it in its current state, or is there a chance that it might need to be done whole cloth and redone through like to the main lines or whatever that entails?
What town are you in again, Domingo?
I'm in Los Angeles. I'm in Los Angeles
Okay.
proper, like down by downtown.
So it's
Well, you know,
possible it's possible that it will pass building and safety. However, it's possible that it won't, because if there's new codes, new building and safety codes, it may have to be upfitted, upgraded. That's all. So we don't know until we do a physical inspection.
To
of
answer a
course,
few of your
got it. But
concerns there,
uh-huh.
yes, gas is allowed, yes, electric is allowed, and yes, they can be shared with the main house. And it's because your ADU is connected to the primary residence that does allow for you to have both the gas and electric. You're not limited to electric only because it's connected to the primary residence. Now, if your ADU, if anybody else out there has something that's detached with the same question, the
Well,
answer is
that
different.
and that's actually the thing, because it is detached. It's not built direct, but they are connected with. I mean, they dug. I know they dug out like a line to run like the plumbing, and then the electric is kind of done like overhead, like to the property. So I don't. Again, yeah, that shake of the head should
That's
tell
not
me.
allowed.
Yeah, okay, good to know.
Yeah,
Good
that
to know.
wasn't
Okay, yeah,
inspected. Yeah, there's
yes,
going to be
yes.
stuff
Okay,
going on with your
good.
ADU that we're going to
Okay,
discover
good.
that needs to be
I think
fixed.
yes, I'm sure that that is the case. And to be fair, we've lived here for like 6 years, so no issue yet. But things being the way they are, and we want to expand and do it the way that it's permissible and allowed, we would want that done. Make sure that's done that way. But yeah, good to know. I'll be sure to be sure to
100%.
let.
Right now, the door's
Yeah,
open. Right now, you're allowed to go in and get a permit. Don't wait until this is no longer allowed. Remember, this
right,
ordinance that allowed you to build these ADUs, it's brand new. It's only been around for a
yeah,
few years now, and it will go away. They're going to run out
right,
of the ability to develop on these ADUs before the infrastructure with the sewer, the electricity, and the
right.
water is able to keep up with this. So yes, take advantage of it now. It is permittable now. Go in, get your permits, get it legal, get it forever added to your house so it adds value to your home. So, maybe next time when you're looking to buy your next house and you want to appraise this house and make sure that it gets the highest value so you get a loan to buy your next house. By having that taken care of now, it adds lots of value to your home later.
Got it. And I guess another one last thing is that before even looking for contractors, or I guess to get the permits and all of that and see that it's done properly for the connections on all of that, and to be done as soon as possible. We don't, for example, right now we're not even at the design process. We're literally just dipping our toes. But knowing that something like this can potentially need to be addressed as soon as possible, that should be addressed. That can be addressed by finding a contractor to sort of start that, or should I be working on the design as soon as
Architects
possible?
first,
Got
architectural
it.
plans
Okay.
first.
So I should be prioritizing that. That way they can get submitted to permitting, and then once it's permitted, then they can see about what might need to be done with the like electrical, plumbing, gas, etc.
100%. So follow one. I don't know if you've already done it, but click on the link that's in the chat. Vic, can you post another link for him to click on?
I
so
can.
he can schedule his consultation. You want to have a conversation with us, and we'll detail out your next steps in order to get this process going for you.
Thank you so much. That would be really great. And Michael, thank you so much for your help. Danny, thank you for the questions. Vasquez family, good looking out.
All right.
All right, Judy,
That's all we.
I wish I love Southern Utah. I want to take my dirt bikes out there and go. Beautiful place. But unfortunately, no, we don't have our construction network out to Southern Utah. Um, I'd be the first one to go there, though.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I want to thank everybody. Merry Christmas, season's greetings to everybody. Have a great time. If you have any questions, you'd like to talk to Michael, myself, or any of the other many talented project managers at AD Resource Center, hit us up on our website online. Thank you.
Good night.